Few stories have worked their way into our popular consciousness as readily or as extensively as Victor Hugo's epic Les Misérables. Beginning nearly 25 years after the French Revolution of 1789, it's the story of an ex-convict called Jean Valjean. Valjean spends 19 years in prison for stealing a loaf of bread for his starving family and for attempting to escape thereafter. He's full of hatred, understandably, towards society when he's released, until the unfailing kindness of a bishop he meets called Myriel resurrects his soul. Skipping his parole and reinventing himself as a good Samaritan, Valjean sets out to help others caught in the trap of poverty, all the while pursued by the self-righteous police inspector Javert against the backdrop of a country on the brink of further revolution. Valjean's quest for redemption has demonstrated an enduring and widespread popularity, from its publication in 1862, when the novel became a global publishing sensation, to its recent incarnation as the world's longest-running musical, which has now been seen by 65 million people in 42 different countries, and which had its own Hollywood movie in 2012. To be short, the novel is indeed one of the most adapted in history, has inspired an enormous range of different versions from the Americas to the Far East across numerous media, on screen, on stage, on radio, in print, and now of course online. Such popularity begs the question, how has a very, very long 19th century French novel managed to connect with audiences across different borders and eras for over 150 years? The various adaptations help to account for this ongoing connection, but at the same time they point us back to where it all started, namely the novel itself, and its stirringly dramatic tale of social injustice and personal salvation. Les Misérables is a vast mix of well-known literary genres that its author knew would lend it wide-ranging appeal, such as classical epic, Shakespearean tragicomedy, and historical and urban fiction. Given his success as a playwright and his interest in painting, Victor Hugo's deftness in entertaining his readers and giving them vivid scenes to imagine is no surprise. Whether it's the fighting between the revolutionaries and the National Guard across the barricades of Paris, or Valjean's famous escape through the sewers underneath them, the novel delivers many episodes of high excitement. But Hugo himself was also a principled writer who had things to say about life at large, as his many famous narrative digressions confirm. The title signalled the breadth of his project. Les Misérables, literally the miserable ones, or the wretched ones, plays on the ambiguity of the word misère in French, which means on the one hand poverty, and on the other hand wretchedness or misery. Hugo therefore understood human suffering in both social and moral terms, and believed that we are all defined as much by our hearts as by our history. One of the key ways in which he makes this point is by way of juxtaposing Valjean with both the formidable Inspector Javert and the villainous criminal Thénardier. Like Valjean, they were both born into society's underclass, but they choose different paths in response. Javert dedicates his life to a rigid moral law that brands everyone as either saints or sinners, thereby redeeming himself in his own eyes for the crime of his birth. Whereas Thénardier increasingly embraces crime and demands vengeance on a world that has given him nothing. But unlike either man, Valjean understands that we cannot see the world in solely black and white terms. The key to a better life for ourselves and for our communities is neither absolute morality nor strict self-interest, but compassion and selflessness, as shown to him by the bishop. In turn, Hugo saw his novel as a sweeping philosophical poem, a book about everything for everyone, in which the social drama of inequality and immorality will be understood through the tragedies and the triumphs of the human spirit. Where the French Revolution had believed in universal values of freedom, equality, and brotherhood for all peoples, Hugo likewise felt that he needed to reach as broad an audience as possible with his reaffirmation of these key democratic values. As he told his publisher, this book is a great mirror reflecting humankind in action at one given moment in its vast history. The great Russian novelist Leo Tolstoy concurred, believing that Les Misérables conveys feelings accessible to all, not least our need for acceptance and our desire for a just world. The novel's immediate focus may be on the social inequality of 19th century France, but its heart lies in understanding humanity in general, and ultimately what makes us better human beings. As our own generation faces the so-called age of the 99%, rife with political conflict, economic hardship and social unease, Les Misérables continues to present itself as a story for all people, in all times.